Farm Guy here, and this is the Steiger Series 4 and Lizard 60 by Blago 2003 on Farming Simulator 22. It's for all platforms, PC, Mac, and console. I'm on PS5 here on Fox Farm for this test and demonstration of this. It's 25.51 megabytes to download. There is 3 items that come in this mod package. We have the Steiger tractor here at 19 slots, and we have 2 attachments. We have a blade and some tanks, liquid tanks, 2 slots each. So we're going to look at all of these in this video and test them out, show you how they all work. But first, let's take a look at the tractor. We'll find it under Vehicles and Large Tractors. And here it is, $140,000 to purchase. The base price, 225 to 360 horsepower, manual transmission, 1,010 liters of fuel capacity, and 19 mile per hour top speed, 12.3 tons. If we take a look at it, we have a number of configurations which we will be looking at. Original green, which is actually the best looking, and then we have the Lizard 60, which is almost certainly a Ford colors, but we're going to stick with the Lizard because the Ford is 360 horsepower and that's it. You don't get an engine option. With the original green Steiger colors, a number of things change when you change the engine setup. We start at the 225. We can move it to the well, there's 2 versions of the 225. We have the CM and then the KM. I believe those are different engines. One's likely a Cummins, and the other KM, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what that is. Someone out there, I'm sure, will know and put it in the comments. However, so we have 2 styles of engine, and you can see the engine actually changes when you do that. Kind of neat. Right. We have the 250 in the CM and the 2, so that's it. Just the Cummins, I do believe. And if you take a look at the badging, it's a Bearcat for the 225. It changes to the Cougar when you switch it to the 250. And then 280. So we have a couple of engines, the 250, 280. And then the KM 280. Then we go to the 325 horsepower, and now we have the Panther. The Panther in a CM and SM at 325, and then a KM. So you have 3 engine options at the 325, and at the 360, we have it's still the Panther. The badging does change. It's hard to see here. We have the 360 CM and 360 KM engine, and then back down. So lots of interesting stuff going on there. We'll leave it here for now. $1,500 for the largest engine option. That's pretty good. Wheel brands: Lizard, Trelleborg, Michelin, Continental, BKT, Nokia, and Vredestein. And back to Lizard. Lizard, we have standard, twins, and standard. So not a lot there to choose from, but there are some variety. Trelleborg, we have twins, standard 2, twins 2, and standard 3, standard 4, standard 5, and back to standard. Michelin, we have standard, twin wheels 2, or well, triples, which is very nice, and back to, then standard 2, standard 3, there we go, back to standard. Continental, we have twins. BKT, we have standard 2, twin wheels, and standard. Nokia, we actually have a twin option on Nokia, which is pretty rare. It is an option on some other mods, but not very seldom you see that. Vredestein, standard 2 and standard, and then back to Lizard. We'll stay, let's see, what is the most expensive? Even triples, $300. That's not bad. Beacon light, yes or no? Attachers. You have your regular pin hitch, or you have a 3-point link for only $1,500. Front loader, no, it does not have a front loader per se, but we do have a dozer blade attachment for the dozer blade, of course. We have a front attacher, which we're going to test out. It just has a hitch. And then a mounted fertilizer adapter, which we will also show. And then the license plate. Right. So let's hop in and get our help window on here. We don't have any open windows or anything. It is pretty nice and simple. It's very dark in the cab. If we turn our lights on, dash lights come on. We have signals. Signal indicator lights inside is nice. Right. Jumping out, we have lights, as you can see, lights and signals. They're up on the signals are all up on the cab. And so let's turn the lights off and the signal off. And well, let's first check the rear hitch, because I don't always do that, but since we're here and we have the trailers, I am sure it will hook up to both pin hitch and ball hitch. Yes. But what about this front hitch? Let's have a closer look at it here. It's very hard to see when it's black, but there it is. Black on black. Wonderful. Let's spin around and then we'll go out to the field where I have tanks and the dozer blades and the pulling stuff and all that good stuff there. So, not a ball hitch attachment. No 3-point option on the front. There it is, pin hitch. So you can attach pin hitch to it and away you go. Right. So, let's hop over here and, excuse me. Let's go over here first. Right, let's do this first. Let's hop in here. We're already running. This is also the base model here. Let's hook up our dozer blade. So this has the dozer blade attachment or option, and we have the dozer blade here. That's how it hooks up. L1 and right stick up and down. And that's it. You have up and down. It moves quite quickly, so that's very nice. So that's attached. Let's just, whilst we're here, we have an implement here, and we'll just hire a worker and show you it going through its gears a little bit. It may take a few tries to figure out what gear and what gear range they want to be in, but it seems to settle in fairly quickly. I have been testing them, so we can see here it's pulling it just fine. And of course, if you use the manual transmission option, it will work a little better if you are driving it yourself. But this is a worker, and they seem to do all right. So not a huge issue there. It's just the typical manual transmission type of issues you have, well, that come up. And this one actually works pretty good, so I can't really complain too much. So we're going to drive over here with the dozer blade. We're going to show that first, because having a dozer blade basically means where do we find the dozer blade? That's a great question. I'm glad somebody thought of that. Dozer blade is going to be found under levelers, and here it is, the dozer blade, $3,000. We have no or yes for an extension, no color options or anything. It is what it is. And we already showed you hooking it up and all that stuff. So I got a little bit of a pile of, oh, it's really taking a big chunk, and that's not even lowered yet. Let's lower it down a little bit and see what she does. Seems to work pretty good, though. I got to say, lower it down a little bit more. Yeah, she actually works pretty good compared to some that some really don't work that. So that's just a small test of the dozer blade there. It seems to work quite well. Let's see if we just drop it right down to the ground. And there we go. Oh, right. So I would imagine this would work with snow as well if you wanted to use it for snow, although there is no tilt option or anything. So, right. So, moving on. Nice. Moving on to the... so as you notice, this one with the Ford colors, no badging or anything. However, I do have the triples on here. And I have a 300 and so what is that? It's just a little bit more than what it should be pulling. 375, yeah. So 360, about 15 horsepower more than it should be pulling. Here's the beacon. That's the only thing basically the other one's base model doesn't have. We got the triples on here. And this is the one that kind of it struggled a little bit when I hired a worker at first. So here we go. It's gonna is it gonna shift or is it gonna stay? Yeah, it's gonna shift, and now it's kind of down there in the lower RPMs and kind of struggling there, but it does eventually sort itself out. Should be going 9 miles per hour, and that's where if you choose the manual transmission mode and do it manually yourself, that would you could pick whatever gear you want to run in, and yeah, so here it goes. Now it's yeah, as it came to the end of the row. Now, here's the one with the tank attachment, and the tank attachment is going to be found under sprayers, tools and sprayers, and there it is. Excuse me, $3,000, 600-liter capacity of herbicide or fertilizer, and it weighs 350 kilograms. There are no options. It's a little wiggly in the store when you place it or when you come in here. Really nice shiny chrome tanks, but no tanks. Right, so how do you hook it up? Well, you have to have the fertilizer configuration, and then all you do is pull up towards it like so, and there we go. She hooks up very nicely and sits right at the front of the tractor like that. Very nice. And I must be a vampire, I can't see my reflection. Warning, contains fertilizer. Nice. So what have we got here? We have a planter, and the planter is actually rated nearly exactly identical to the horsepower on this particular tractor. And if we start her up here a little bit and let the worker go at it, there we go, no problem. 11 miles per hour right away, so no problems here. So it is the only time I think you're going to really see this tractor struggle is if you make it pull something a little bit bigger than it's rated for. So let's just watch this guy come to the end and turn around. Not that there's a problem with it turning around. As a matter of fact, it does quite well. However, it is a bit different than some of the others. Being articulated, it's doing the little wiggle as it backs up. but it doesn't do it too much. And yes, no problems turning around with that wide piece of equipment. And we'll see it do a little line up here and do a little wiggle as it backs up, but again, not too badly, and doesn't take up an enormous amount of time. So there we go, down again and forward, and off we go, just like so. Right, so in conclusion, a very nice example, actually. Some nice options, not too many options, just enough, and some interesting ones that you don't see often. So there it is. That's the Steiger Series 4 Lizard 60 by Blago 2003 on Farming Simulator 22. Thank you all for watching. I'm Looney Farm Guy, and remember, it's only a game, so till next time, bye for now.